Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you all for joining us today. Today's topic is certainly one that is on the forefront of all of our minds. Whether you are a supplier of fresh food, you're a retailer, you're a restaurant, or, as all of us are, a consumer. On today's call, you're going to hear a pre-recorded session with Bill Price, the VP of Fresh Foods at Associated Food Stores. He has some great insight into how his company is addressing some of the biggest challenges retailers are facing today with the shopper's transition into this omni-channel experience within the fresh food department. You're also going to hear from our very own Director of Omnichannel, Dana Cleon. She's going to be walking through some of the best practices to gain shopper loyalty and grow your omni-channel business. You're also going to hear some brief insights from some recent research that Robinson Fresh conducted on why getting omni-channel right now is so important. So with that, let's get started. While an integrated path to purchase for consumers is nothing new to our shopping patterns in industries like home goods, textiles, consumer electronics, apparel, right? We're all very used to getting that omni-channel integrated experience. But fresh food has been a space for most shoppers where they're not yet willing to make that shift towards online purchasing. They haven't gotten comfortable. It was one of those things that most people still wanted that sensory experience, going into a store, smelling those different things, touching different things, picking out their own items. But this pandemic has certainly accelerated the consumer's comfort levels in purchasing fresh food online. People are saying that thanks to COVID, 10 years of growth has occurred in a matter of months. That is significant. But the question remains, is it here to stay? And while the move online has been met with challenges for all parties across the supply chain, for the most part, shoppers are actually saying they've been pretty happy with their experience in both retail and as well at food service. Our recent study found that 54% of shoppers purchased fresh produce online for the first time since the pandemic. This newfound comfort and trust with online shopping is putting an enormous amount of pressure and focus on how to evolve the fresh food industry into this well-oiled omni-channel experience like consumers get with other items that they're purchasing. In fact, the importance of getting it right now is heightened by the fact that we also found out that those shoppers that just started purchasing fresh food online, 7 out of 10 of them are saying that they're going to continue to purchase fresh produce online post-pandemic. So this has really created a completely new experience for them on how they want to purchase fresh food. And their omni-channel experience will become critical in winning their loyalty well into the future. In our research, we found that shoppers are really looking for more pointed and curated information. Above all, they want to make their lives more convenient, make it simple, give me the right information at the right time, and make my job of buying different, fresh, healthy items easier for me and for my family. They're looking for the same benefits they get walking into a store available to them online, but more personalized. They're looking for specific likes and needs. We need to know that, right? We have that information. We need to now accelerate that for their online experience. An example would be if a consumer is walking into a store today, they're going to see a beautiful end cap display of all of these different items that make up a great recipe, and that retailer might be promoting that recipe, might have recipe cards, some cool marketing content around it. That consumer is looking for that online too. But now they're looking for the top liked recipes to populate up on the top of their screen. They're looking for things like nutritional benefits, what's easy to cook, cooking tips. They're looking for, if they see something that they like, they want to be able to click on that recipe, learn all about it, see some videos around how to cook it, cut or slice or dice or whatever it is that they need to do. And then they're looking to click on that and get all of those items added into their basket. Some retailers are doing that today. and they're starting to move to that. But that's the type of experience that the shopper is looking for in fresh food. And that has only been accelerated so much because of the current pandemic. So with that, I'd like to transition over to Dana so that she can start to go through some of those core pillars of what best in class looks like and what that shopper is really anticipating and wanting from that experience.
Thanks, Gina. So as we look to build out an omni-channel strategy, we like to look at a 3-pillar framework. So the first pillar in this framework is product, and that's creating the multi-sensory experience online with the right imagery and right content to really engage your shopper. The second pillar, merchandising, is around making digital marketing and promotions work harder, both online and in store. And the third pillar is personalization, which is enhancing customer service to improve customer satisfaction. Now, before I dive into each of these, we have a quick poll for everybody. We'll have about 10 seconds to get through it. So our question for all of you is, which of the following focus areas is most important for your company's omni-channel strategy / approach? Is it product content, merchandising and marketing, or personalization of the shopping experience? We have just a couple seconds left, so please make your selection now. Let's see what the results are showing. So I'm not seeing anything on my screen. I don't know if that's an IT issue. Let's see. We'll get those results later. Let's keep moving. We're going to talk about all three anyway, so it really didn't matter too much which one rose to the top. So our first pillar, as I mentioned before, is product, and that is creating a multi-sensory online experience with the right imagery and content. And what does this mean? So think about you as a consumer when you're walking into a store. How do you shop for your fresh produce, right? You pick something up, you look at it from all angles, you read the front and the back of packaging. Like Gina mentioned, you might smell it, you're going to compare a couple of different items. So how do you recreate that sensory experience in that digital space? And we have a few tips to share with you today, and then a lot more detail we can go into after this. But the first thing is focusing in on the product images. So that's how you're really going to bring this product page to life. So of course you want to have that very clear front of pack. Clearly you can see the product in the pack, but also show the packaging because that's how a shopper is familiar seeing it in store. In addition to that straight on shot, you'll also want to share some alternate angles so that the shopper can see, the depth of the packaging, how much product they're getting. You also want to show some pictures of the product out of pack. And lastly, really breaking it down and showing what this product could look like in a recipe or in different ways to use it. That'll really help the shopper understand the product that they're buying. In addition to these images, there's a few other parts of the product page that I want to review. Providing that rich content will really maximize consumer engagement. So at the top of this very generic product page, you do see those multiple images in that image carousel. And then underneath that, you see a strong product description. So you want to include full sentences that include flavor profile, variety, usage, and then also include some quick bullets that will also help the consumer understand things that are important to them, whether if it's something that's kid-friendly, certain allergen information or diet information, for instance, gluten-free, things like that. So again, it's that long description, but then also just some quick bullets. So in addition to this, we also want to make sure that the nutritional fact panel is very clear. Some retailers have put a picture of it in the product carousel, but we really recommend to have it as a standalone image so that it can very clearly be seen, all the macronutrients, all the ingredients, any allergen information. Very important to show this at the point of purchase. And then it would be great to show a section on recipes. So showing how this product can be used in different recipes. Ideally, these would all be clickable links. So you could click on the link, and as Gina mentioned earlier, you can see a full page of the recipe, including ingredients, how to, cut up all the different products that you're using in it, directions, and then the ability to add all those items to cart is a great way to really have that basket building experience. And the last component of the product page that we found to be very important is showing related items for a cross-sell. So there's a lot of retailers out there today that are doing a very good job of this. A great opportunity to either show items from the same brand portfolio or the same department, or a great way to cross-purchase. So you know, in this carousel, you're not worried about temperature zones, for instance. That's something that's always been a hindrance to doing some bigger cross-promotional programs, but temperature doesn't matter. So you could put something from produce, you could put something from frozen, and have it all here very nicely laid out in the carousel to, again, encourage that basket building. So that's the first pillar. Our second pillar that we're going to talk about today is merchandising. So this is around making digital marketing and promotions work harder. So everyone's very familiar with brick and mortar marketing vehicles. You know, up top we see a big cardboard display. On the bottom, you know, good old circular ads. So how do we take these experiences and bring it into the online space? We know from our research that 77% of online shoppers want to see the same types of promotions online that they see in stores. So you really need to focus on digitizing these marketing vehicles. And as you do that, think about what that experience will look like on a desktop, what it'll look like on a mobile device, and also what that experience will be in store. So we've seen from our research, a lot of consumers are kind of crossing channels as they're purchasing. So they might be in store on their phone comparing a sale or a price with what they're seeing in store. So just very important as you digitize displays, as you digitize circular ads, any type of promotional banners, whatever special pricing that you're offering online, make sure that it aligns with what you're doing in the stores as well. And our last pillar we'll talk about today is personalization. So this is enhancing customer service to improve customer satisfaction. So this is a very new area for omnichannel, for e-commerce. How do you encourage your shoppers if they are unhappy or if they just are very selective about their produce to be able to provide that feedback to your store so that you can give them the best experience possible? So one example that we've seen to really bring this to life is in picking out avocados. Everybody knows that they come in a variety of ripeness. Everybody wants to pick that perfect avocado, but it's really hard when you're sitting at home placing an online order. How do you know that the picker in the store is picking the ripeness that you want? So one great way to enable this satisfaction is to engage in two-way communication in either a shopper app or on the website. Find a way, it could be through texting, that you can have the consumer and the shopper interact. So an example here on the right-hand side is our consumer is asking the shopper, you know, can you pick me out one ripe avocado and one unripe avocado? The picker is able to share a picture of this, and then the consumer can say, you know, this is great, thank you, you know, pick those two up and put them in my cart. So think of ways that you can evolve your customer service to get that engagement with your consumer to really make sure that they're getting the best experience possible. So summarizing our framework again, here are our three pillars. So it's product, merchandising, personalization, and we have another quick poll for you, and hopefully it works this time. But we wanted to ask you a question about who's managing your omnichannel. So who is responsible for omnichannel within your organization? Is it your procurement team, your marketing team, the buying team? Do you have a special center of excellence, you know, cross-functional omnichannel team, or do you let an outside agency take care of that for you? So just a couple more seconds. If you guys could all vote, that would be great.
All right. This is actually a great poll question. Oh, hey, it worked this time. This is a great question because this seems to be a topic that comes up in so many conversations I've had with our customers over the last few months, is because there's no one clear strategy and best in class today, everything is evolving very quickly. There hasn't been a consistency in who owns it. And even in our poll results, I mean, certainly there is a strong focus on the omnichannel team, which is which is great that some companies and many of you have invested in an omni-channel team. But so many others, it's split between procurement or a merchandising team or the marketing team, also enlisting an outside agency. So it's not surprising that with this diversity of who is really taking ownership and point on it, that it's hard to create that universal omni-channel strategy, right? And really be able to execute on that all the way across your organization into the stores. But let's take some time now to actually pivot over to Bill Price, because he's going to go through some of the things that his organization is doing to help create and evolve that omni-channel experience within his organization.
Can you tell us about how your organization has made omnichannel growth a priority and how you have responded to the increased demand for omnichannel capabilities in the last few months?
Sure, yes. We've seen, as everybody has across the country, a dramatic increase in web activity and online shopper interactions. Our sales are up over 150% there. In the past, online sales was more of a service that you would offer, and what the change is now, it's a necessity. It's gone from a choice to something that you have to provide. It's part to be in the game. So one of the changes that we made is we did have our stores that had some accounts that we only did the online shopping that had the facility, that might have the coolers or better segregation space, and only offered it in those locations. We've since taken a switch to that and use those as hub and spoke for other retail outlets that don't have that facility or the capability to do that, and use those as opportunities for the guests to still shop at their primary shopping experience, but have it fulfilled from our hub and spoke system. And that's the largest change that we've made.
Wow, that's a really great example of how you've been able to evolve so quickly to meet the new online demand. We have some stats here from one of our latest research studies. The first one is that 54% of online produce shoppers bought produce online for the first time in the past few months. And the second one, that 70% of those shoppers plan to continue buying groceries online in the future. So let's talk about how you maintained consistency between the brick and mortar and online experience.
A great question again. Some of the most impactful online content that we've used are twofold. One is, product image, as to how the customer will see it on the store. Commodity based. Speaking of that specifically, we'd have what your pictures of what the commodity might look like at the store. So just your whole fruits, your whole vegetables, and then the content that the consumers are looking for, and we're getting the most responses from currently, are preparation ideas, recipe ideas, and links to those types of things. And that's something that we look for from our supply side, as well as from the branding experts who might have additional content that might be more user-friendly to the consumer. So we're looking for solutions that we have in hand, as well as any opportunity that the industry could bring to us to link to our pages.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that too. A lot of shoppers definitely get frustrated, or they even feel cheated when they see that pricing is different in store and online. How have you ensured that you're able to accomplish this consistency at store level?
Yeah, and that's one place that we've increased our investment as an associated team, is in our schematics and our shelf integrity and retail set crews. We've invested more labor dollars and more time spent on the tile, working on shelf integrity to make sure that we have the pricing confidence that the consumer is looking for.
Yes, and that's so critical as we move into this new normal, making sure that you are investing in the right places to keep your shoppers loyal and happy. One last area I want to talk to you about is customer service. So can you talk about the importance of customer service to your online business?
There's a couple things that we've added to our online experience that I think help create guest loyalty. One of them is we do have a texting program where we can go back and forth with the guest, asking them if they're okay with the substitution, if their particular brand that they're asking for is available or not, or we might suggest a private label option, We also have that your product was picked and selected by John or Cindy or whoever, so that they can know that it was a person that did that for them, and that they can have a tie to that experience. And we think that this opportunity is a way we can differentiate that level of service, so that they can feel like they picked it out themselves. So if we do a good job with selecting their produce or getting the right ribeye with the perfect amount of trim on it, that they'll know that that's the same experience they would have gotten if they'd done it themselves. And we think that's a big opportunity to grow guest loyalty to this program that's continuing to grow.
Awesome. Well, it was great to hear from Bill, and we thank him for his time, certainly to give us some really good tidbits on how his organization is tackling this evolution into an omni-channel experience for fresh food. You know, we want to thank everybody who's made the time for the call today. And I did want to circle back on the first poll question. We did find the results, and it was very clear that most everyone on this call was really focused on focusing in on how to create the right personalization in the experience. And I think when we think about a topic like personalization, you can't help but know but think about the need for really strong data, right? To really understand what the shopper's likes are, who they associate with, and how to hone that data in and really use that and harness that information to make really quick, real-time insights for your business to take action on. And that's something certainly that is it's evolving rapidly, right? And I know that we are all pressured to make and draw out the right insight so that we can create the right personalization. So whether that's curating the right assortment for your online department in a specific market, or that you know, clustering your shoppers together in certain like groups. I know today, obviously with brick and mortar, you cluster your stores for certain planograms. Well, how do you take that planogram from in-store, bring that experience online, and really focus in on the right pricing and the right promotions and the right assortment and marketing to those shoppers in that specific area or that specific group. So obviously, you know, like I said, we had a great session today. What I'd like to do now, though, is open it up for any questions you guys might have or any feedback, any comments. What are you guys doing from a personalization standpoint with your organizations?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would just like to build on that while everyone is asking their questions, that I think something very unique about online is that you're able to try things out, and if they fail or if they succeed, you can pivot very quickly. So if you decide to feature a certain item on your homepage and let's say it doesn't sell, people aren't clicking on it, you can quickly swap that out for something else and try that too. It's very different from in the store where you spend so many months putting together a planogram set and you need it to be perfect, and then you're stuck with it for a couple months. It's very easy online, even day to day, if you wanted to kind of switch out different products, different messaging. As Gina mentioned, you know, you could tailor it to different regions if you have that capability on your website. So just a lot of opportunity to explore that pillar and see what works for you and your shoppers.
That's great content, Dana. And we're just about up on time. We don't actually see the questions coming through on the chat. So what I will do at this point is really just offer up and invite you to connect with your account managers, because we have a ton more information around this space. We have a great resource team around Omnichannel and some great capabilities. And if you could set up some time with your account managers, and we can bring that team and those resources to help you and really personalize your experience, we would love to be a part of that. So thank you all again for your time today, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you.